Hey there, I got a great video for you guys today with Sonya of Terrastay Farm in Saxapahaw, North Carolina. And they're doing a kind of a diverse group of things here on the farm. They have sheep and chickens, and they got some perennial crops, some annual vegetables, and they're also doing some agritourism with some cabins that they rent out, and a lot of cool stuff here. So let's get on to chatting with Sonya. All right, Sonya, so we're out at your farm, Terrastay. We're in Saxapahaw, North Carolina. Tell me a little about the property here and, what you guys do here.
Okay, so my husband and I bought the property on New Year's Eve in 2018, so we've been here just a little over a year and a half. As far as purchasing, we were here a few months before we had started leasing it, but we have been figuring out kind of rapid quick because the sale happened. We had planned on doing something in a few years, but not now. But we have 8 acres and 4 agritourism cabins. Little cabin up front. We have 3 high tunnels that are 96 by 35 that we're going to be using for annual production. One of them we want to have exclusively for nursery work and microgreens, and then some baby greens. But the other 2 we want to go ahead and rotate annual crops in there. But one thing that we did learn last summer is that it's really, really hot, and if this is going to be an active retirement, it really needs to be something that we can maintain as we age and still be able to perhaps go away. So that's when we started doing a lot of research, a lot of YouTube research, and we decided last year to give a try on planting some asparagus, and we started with the Purple Passion because it's the first that comes to market and is also high sugar. And after being in viticulture for so many years, it was something that I know the chefs would be itching for, like right when winter's ending and it's a first fresh crop. So we were pretty excited about that, but we gave it a try with just 2,000 crowns to start, and they did really well. So we're up to 11,500 asparagus crowns, and then we've got the blackberries that we've just put in 2 varieties that we are experimenting also with different harvest times. So we have the Freedom, which does both floricane and primocane production. And the primocane obviously is unusual. And so we should get an early summer and a fall production off of that. And then the Caddo, which makes these really beautiful berries, but they only come in right at the end of June, mid-July.
All right, so one of the really unique things on your farm here are these cabins. Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about what's going on here and how this operation sort of works.
Okay, so we have 4 cabins. We actually have them set up so we can do 5 more. But they're just single room cabins. People like to come out here and relax and they joke around. There's no TV, there's no Wi-Fi, but they could connect if they wanted to. And people joke around about sheep TV. Sit on the porch, sit in their rocker, have their coffee. And then we let people be involved about as much as they want to be involved. If they want to get dirty and do some of the jobs that we're doing, they're welcome to. But most folks just come out to check out the town. We're walking distance, and have a glass of wine, have some coffee, watch sheep, and take the tour, ask some questions, and then just hang out. So,
how long are people staying here for usually?
I would say the average, I think Airbnb stats were saying something about 1.7 days. So okay. We get a lot of long weekenders, but we get a lot of overnights, especially since the bulk of we seem to have like locals that will come out to come visit family. And then the concerts, the Haw River Ballroom, we have a lot of folks that want to walk down there so they can enjoy themselves, walk home. It's a third of a mile. And then a lot of families that want to go take in the canoe. We've got the kayak launch. It's by trail right behind us. We're actually sitting on the Mountain to Sea Trail. Did you know that?
No, I didn't, but that's awesome.
So it'll go all the way. It's not connected yet, but it'll go from the Smoky Mountains all the way to the Outer Banks. And so at some point we want to put in a bunkhouse so we can have some thru hikers.
Very cool.
But for right now, we just have folks that are coming out here to visit the farm and just kind of get some fresh air.
Cool. I know that there's a lot of people trying to work on the agritourism stuff.
Yes.
And it seems like a big part of what's going on here. And it seems like you've been pretty busy with this.
I've been very busy with this.
And how about with COVID?
So when COVID happened, so that was March 6th? I know the date well. March 6th, we were booked all the way through the end of June for weekends. Like every weekend was booked.
Okay, so people feel like it's a safe place to come.
Well, that was before. So then everybody canceled.
Oh, okay.
All but
Gotcha.
2 reservations canceled. And what happened in May is that the first people that came out here actually were a couple surgeons from UNC. And we set them up, with 72 hours in between guests. And we will tell people how long it's been. We can block off additional days if people want to, work with us on that. Most of the folks have been okay. We do a really, really thorough clean. And so those surgeons found out about it. And they let some moms who have some high-risk kids know about it, and the moms have come out here repeat over and over just because they feel like they can relax and they don't feel like they're jeopardizing their children.
So was this always part of the plan to have this sort of like people coming and staying on the farm, or how did that come about?
So, well, I think I mentioned to you before that I have I'd written a business plan when I was 24, and I just had this vision of having a bed and breakfast with a vineyard and a working farm and a restaurant. And so when this place was being developed by Tony Gaddis and Mike Grotowski, they put these structures in place, but I just kept seeing my previous dream being built. And so for me, it was very, very easy translation. When I ran into Tony, I just met him, and he mentioned thinking about selling this place, and my husband and I were looking for a solution to his pending retirement, and he's in law enforcement, and so we were trying to figure out what he's going to do because he'll be young, be 53. And so I could very, very easily see my early vision here. So with that, their vision was agritourism and really investing in people getting involved and visiting farms and, and bringing their visits to different communities. I saw it as the same, but also with a background in business development as an additional way to just farm with some additional financial stability.
Okay, does this take up a lot of your time to manage this?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure does.
Okay.
But, it's something that I think we'll be able to move away from. We are about to, September 9th, you'll be able to book our place direct. So that'll be a little easier. Right now, all the communication has to go through Airbnb. And until they book, as long as they have questions, you have to text on the app. So
Okay.
that's challenging.
All right, let's go take a look inside.
Okay.
All right, so you have 4 cabins here right now?
Before cabins.
Okay, and are they all basically laid out the same way?
They are all almost the same setup, yeah. This one, there's just a couple of little differences, but they all have a queen size bed. The one on the end is also wheelchair accessible. So the bathroom in the back takes up the whole back wall. So the kitchen is a little smaller. The living space is a little smaller.
Okay.
But otherwise, they're pretty much the same. You have a
Okay.
little kitchenette, there's no combustion, but you have an induction stovetop over there and a little convection oven. And then there's a shower in each of them, queen bed. And we also have 2 rollaways, so really we list them as a max of 4 folks.
All right, so this is a cool gathering spot for your guests. Talk a little about what's going on here.
Yeah, so we've got 6 swings and a little bar and a fire pit. And it's not uncommon for folks to end up here at the end of the night.
Okay.
And get to know everybody. We have started doing tours. We'll just let people know what time the tour is. Everyone checks in and we try and coordinate it so everyone gets to meet. And while there are a lot of couples that come out just for their own weekend, it ends up everyone's socializing out here at the end of the night.
Right.
We had a full house. So we'll just introduce them to the farm. Everybody asks their questions, and while we're out meeting the sheep and taking a look at what we're learning and what our new projects are going to be, we'll start a fire and everyone sits around and gets to know each other. It's it's a good time.
All right, so another part of your business is you guys are sort of a small aggregator and distributor.
Right. Yep.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so when we got here, it was already in process. There was a group of about 10 farmers who were pulling together to share resources to have some distribution on their larger production items go to wholesale accounts. So we deliver primarily to Raleigh, Cary, and we are going to be opening up another market pretty soon. But there's about 10 farms. We allow people to place their orders online, and the chefs that don't want to can still call and text, and however they want to get their orders to us, because we will take their orders.
Okay, so what kind of farms are you aggregating for?
So everybody's doing similar, but also different things. Like, so we all are the same mindset where we want to do no spray. If there is any spray, it's organic. Everyone's talking about different ways that they're doing regenerative soil, building the soil, putting, biology back into the soil instead of drawing and taking away from it. There are some folks with high tunnels. Just about everyone has high tunnels or caterpillar tunnels. But we're all doing slightly different things and trying different things and sharing ideas. So basically, we all come to the table with the same, I'm going to call it morals and ethics of farming. So we can present that in one book, and that gives us a much larger diversity of product and also product stability as far as like supply stability. When people are looking at menus, they want to know that it's not a one and done. And so if a few of us can grow some things, then we can keep that supply up. And we also work with Randy Lewis, which is a really neat product too, because he's creamline milk, non-homogenized, which is just special. And we're all right here in the Saxapahaw General's area.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so like-minded people, and it sounds like a diverse group of products too. You have someone doing dairy, someone doing vegetables.
Pastured meats.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you can offer a bigger menu and justify maybe trips into other metropolitan areas, like getting into Raleigh, for example.
Exactly.
Okay.
So because when we do that, then we're sharing the cost, and then we're not all taking five. And it's also, it's not just economical; it's ecological. You're taking one van, one location, and so everyone drops it off here. We store it in our walk-ins. We've been really blessed with the purchase of this place that they had the walk-in coolers. So everyone brings it in, and then we break it out into predominantly wholesale sales, but I also will include other people's products in any kind of retail we're doing, because we'll do the farm pickups as well.
Well, I see it as a benefit, not just for, saving gas essentially, but also in terms of marketing too. I mean, it's less contacts, and, more people can move more food that way.
We're working on that. That model is still taking a little extra development. I worked in distribution for a lot of years.
Okay.
So I think that's one of the reasons that I can see where we can go, but we do still need to work on that sales piece more to make it more accessible, and also,
Cool. It's a great idea, and I think there needs to be more of this kind of thinking, this collaborative sort of effort into small-scale farming. So
yeah,
very cool.
I'm pretty excited with what's going on with COVID. So when the wholesale went away, now people are coming together and going, okay, how else can we support each other? And so we are meeting actually next week, but we're talking about being able to collectively buy to help all of us with our own costs in amendments and whatever else we need going in, shade cloth, plastic.
Is there some tool sharing too going on?
And then there's tool sharing, and so we're working on figuring that out. Full Plate Farm hosts the tools, and so that's one way that specifically smaller scale folks can use some equipment without investing all the money in it.
Or at least give them a
small
try
rent.
first, right?
Exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah, because I bought things that I wish I hadn't.
I think all of us feel that way. So it's nice to have people you can be like, hey, let me know how this
let
works.
me see. Well, yeah.
And
I mean, for me, some people love that vacuum seeder. I think it's neat. I tried it. It is not my tool. I had seeds everywhere. So
Glad you didn't buy it.
And they're expensive.
Yeah.
They're expensive. So
Right.
yeah.
Very cool. Let's take a look around and see some other stuff
Okay.
you got going on. All right, so this is like the coolest delivery van I've ever seen, and you guys got like an AC and a cool bot in here. But
Yeah.
we're gonna do a separate video about this. So,
Okay.
but I do want to talk about this.
Okay.
All right, and you guys are doing all your deliveries out of here?
Yes.
All right. All right, so you got 3 large tunnels on the property here.
Uh-huh.
One is gonna be used for nursery
Microgreens,
and salad greens and
and
stuff.
baby greens.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe some specialty greens.
And what are some other stuff that you guys grow here?
So we've got the 2 other tunnels, and we are working with Gina over at CFSA. She's our high tunnel specialist, and she has suggested that we rotate annually between the 2. But I know a lot of folks, and I'm interested in talking to you more about what you guys do, because you're constantly rotating your beds and maybe using them at the same time. Some other farmers use them at the same time, but right now we're alternating seasonally. So we'll rest it, and then we'll plant the other.
Okay.
And so the products that we are growing in here are really for the chefs that I've developed relationships with after being in the wine industry for so many years. So we're trying to grow some really cool things, neat things that aren't things you're going to see. And we're growing them for anybody, for everybody. But I know chefs that are interested in the Chiago beets and the mixed baby color carrots, and we want to do some of those in the really hard winter.
So when you're deciding what to grow here, is this based on the sort of portfolio you're offering through the distribution, or is this like a separate sales outlet?
So honestly, it's kind of both. Everybody for the distribution is growing for chefs. And as much as possible, we're trying to get chefs to pre-order and have us grow to order and grow to their menu,
right,
so that we both can plan. We're working on that. We have some folks that are doing that. But also for self, because we're very, very blessed with our location. People are coming into Saxapahaw, and we've got great road frontage. So we're going to put in a roadside market.
Very cool.
And so we want some things that people are excited to try. And then that'll probably go into our box programs as well. People may not regularly see purple passion asparagus. They may not see, the striped beets and all the different color beets and, the Easter egg radishes. And so we're hoping to just, maybe get some of that variety in there as well. But I do know that the chefs that I've worked with who have really good palates and like pairing food with really cool wines and things like that get excited about neat products that are small scale, that look really good on a plate, that taste really good too.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's go check out some of the animals you got going on. All right, so you got quite a bit of pasture here, which eventually is going to become a vineyard.
Correct.
Okay, but what's going on? You got chickens and you got sheep going on here. Tell me a little about all these guys here.
Yeah, so before we got here, I was working with Suzanne over at Reverence Farms and her family. And one of the products that they raise is lamb, and they are all pastured. And about 10% of those babies don't make it. And so they either need to be bottle fed or they just don't make it. And so I asked her if I could bring some in. And I also figured it would help with the cottages, because a bottle baby is really, really affectionate. And everybody loves a sheep that wants to come be pet by them. So the first year we had 6 of them. And they stayed on my bed, and for the first couple of days. It wasn't like they stayed there a long time, but and then we transitioned them to the porch within about a week. But they've been really good. They've been taking care of this whole area, which is about, I think they've got about 4 acres total that we rotate regularly, and then one of them got all the girls pregnant, so now we have 20.
Okay, so you have 20 sheep. Okay, so they're helping maintain the property, increase fertility, and
Yes.
they're also kind of like a marketing tool?
Yes, absolutely, a marketing tool.
Okay, because part of what you're selling with the agritourism and people staying here, they feel like they're on a farm when they have animals here too.
Absolutely. In fact, before we had the animals, everybody was like, well, where are the animals? Where are the animals? And I was like, well, I guess we need animals.
Okay, because it's funny, because you could just grow vegetables and you could...
Yeah.
Yeah, but people
Yeah.
want to see animals when they
People
come.
want to see animals. And that was one of the first things. We got Lily, and we had someone that was here from Los Angeles, and she was so excited to be holding a lamb and FaceTiming her daughter. It's like, I'm on a farm. We hadn't grown anything yet. We had just moved in, and we had a little sheep.
Okay,
And
so
that
you're
was it.
doing portable electric fencing, and the
Yep.
chickens are following the sheep, or kind of...
They follow the perimeter. They also run in there with them all
I
the
can-
time,
yeah, I can
because
totally
they
see
don't
that.
seem to care about the fence. The sheep fence will just walk through it. And it seems to work out, because then they're still protected, but they get a lot more run area. But yeah, so we just take them and follow. In fact, we had them in with the sheep, and Lily kept getting in there, and sheep don't belong in a chicken coop.
So sheep can be great tools on the farm,
Yes.
mainly as like mowers and clearing areas and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about a little bit, we're up by the road here.
Yep.
How have you guys used them, like in this area in particular?
So when we first got them, the portable fence is amazing, but we had this all blocked off, and these were completely covered. And you can see some growing back right here. It'll be 2 weekends, and they'll be back in here, and they'll actually be in the trees. They're not afraid to climb, but they're not as able as goats.
So they'll clear poison ivy for you guys too?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is though, because they're bottle babies, they're also really affectionate, and they have lanolin.
Okay.
And so the oils stay on their fur for a
Absolutely.
long time. So that is something, if someone was going to use sheep, they're gonna want to try and catch them.
Very, very good point.
It is,
Okay.
because I got it.
Okay, that makes sense.
But
I've heard about that happening with dogs even too, so.
Well, and lanolin, it just sticks like for a long time.
Very oily.
Yes. So, but they did such a good job. I read about it just to make sure. I mean, you've got some Virginia creeper coming back up, and we've got some poison oak and a lot of poison ivy. But it was full. There was a lot here.
Okay, and so when you guys get your vineyard set up, you're gonna hopefully be moving the sheep through there to help do some thinning and stuff?
Yeah, so the idea, actually, I lived in New Zealand as an exchange student and with a vet who, really influential, but they use sheep a lot for clearing. But I went for an interview with a winemaker that lived next door to Robert Sinsky in Carneros, and he had sheep all throughout his vineyard, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. So then I started learning more about it and how it could be effective here in North Carolina. I've talked to some winemakers here, I've talked to other folks, and one of the problems I've noticed when studying viticulture is, California, they grow vines well, but not prolific. They don't have like kudzu everywhere like we do, and there's a lot of labor in trimming back the vines. These guys can do that, and especially since they are trained to that fence, I can put it as wide as I want so they can't reach as much, or I can get it nice and tight if at the end of the season and I want them to help prune them back. And they won't be able to do all the work, but they'll be able to reduce the labor considerably.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then the fertilizer,
bonus.
Can't beat that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sonya, what a cool farm you guys got going here. Lots of cool activities and diversity of business, and a lot of cool things to come. How can people check out what you're doing online, or if they have questions about your farm, the growers group, or your cabins or anything like that? How can they check that stuff out?
So we have everything on terrastay.com, and there's a page there for the growers group. It talks about our partners. There's a stay tab as well. And then coming soon, September 9th, we'll actually have to where you can book all the packages yourself for our farm stays on our website. But currently there's a link to Airbnb.
Cool. I'll put links down below for all that stuff.
Sweet.
Thanks so much. You're a little too close. I can't focus that close. That might be the shot. I don't know. How about you eating? Is that cool?
Can you pause it for a second?
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're good.
A lot of
You
people
don't have to go
use
into this stuff.
Huh?
You don't have to go into this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's cool though.
Yeah.
Sorry, is that on film?
Yeah, it's on film. It's fine. That could be an outtake.
That could be a what?
Outtake at the end. Outtakes are the best. Hey there, I'm out at... I always love when I have an audience. Not at all. Hey there, I'm out at Terrastay Farm with Sonya, and we're in Hillsborough, North Carolina. Not Hillsborough, we're in Saxapahaw. I always suck at filming because I've been like interviewing and I'm like, I don't have to be on camera today. And then I try to do an intro. Sometimes I just do the intro at home, but might as well do it right now. Hey there, I have a great video for you guys today with Sonya of Terrastay Farm in Saxapahaw, North Carolina. And